My name is James Kabiru. I'm the founder of a company called Olive Tree Media, and we connect organizations to the people that they serve through SMS, USSD, and mobile applications.
We were talking earlier, and you were giving me two examples of your work. The first was about payments. What did you do in the payments example? Yes,
that was an interesting project that we run. And we were called on by a Polish software development company named Nearshoring to assist them in a project that they were doing in Kenya with an NGO named Farm Access, whose primary goal was to provide subsidized healthcare to disadvantaged communities in areas like Kibera and slum areas in and around the country. And the idea was to register all these beneficiaries and connect them to service providers and allow beneficiaries to make token payments of 50 shillings, 10 shillings, really highly discounted rates for what would otherwise be a high consultancy fee. And then the NGO would pay the balance of the consultancy fee.
It will pay a top-up effectively.
It will pay a top-up effectively to the service provider.
So how many people were using that service?
It served about 10,000 people at the time. And just to give you a scenario of how it would work, a man gets sick, goes to a clinic which charges 500 shillings consultancy. Using his M-Pesa, he would pay 50 shillings to the service provider. And then we built a system that would capture the information that John Onyango has paid 50 shillings into Clinic X. And using that information, we would push a transactional chain that would enable Farm Access push the payment of the balance directly to the service provider.
So in effect, with validating who he was. And
yes. So exactly. So it would validate his being a member of the program, of the subsidy program. It would validate that he has met his obligations, and it would then create. It would then enable the service provider effectively bill Farm Access without any need for reconciliations or any kind of, the back and forth that would normally occur with accountancy issues.
And that product then transformed into something that Safaricom took up?
Yes, it evolved into what is now being called MTIBA. And it's still run by Farm Access. But then in order to give the program the size and the scale that it needed, they opted to work with Safaricom and to build it into what it is now.
And the second example is to do with the university. Give me that example.
Yes, we worked with Egerton University, which is Kenya's largest agricultural university. They specialize primarily on training farmers and agricultural scientists, basically all the agricultural sciences. What we did was build a portal for them, an SMS portal for them that would enable farmers around the region access information directly from the university related to what they do, what they are farming. So for example, a chicken farmer would subscribe into the portal to occasionally receive tips and advice on raising a specific breed of chicken. Yes.
So how many people are using that service?
Right now it's at about 7,500 people, and it's continuing to grow. We've been rolling it out slowly, and at Olive Tree we believe in what we call agile development methods, where you roll out a product, you quickly prototype a product, roll it out, and then get it back with feedback and changes that need to be made, modified, roll it out again. So we are in that phase, and it's still going through the agile cycle.
And do the farmers pay for that service?
They pay a premium on every SMS that they send.
So you split the revenues?
And we split the revenues with Egerton University.
More generally, both of these products are SMS related.
Yes.
And we hear a lot about the growth of smartphones in Kenya and so on and so forth. What's the situation in terms of who uses what type of device?
The smartphone growth, yes, has been rapid. I would put the number now at about 9 million smartphones in the country. This has actually been a double-digit growth from about 2 years ago, when it was approximated to be at 4 million smartphone users in the country. However, the thing about the smartphone is that it still has, there's a high educational curve.
Yeah.
And people need to understand how to use smartphones. And so whether you have a feature phone or a smartphone, at the end of the day, the most basic user will still need a good degree of education to get to learn how to use all his smartphone applications. And so SMS, which everybody knows how to use, remains a very relevant channel of communication, even for smartphone holders. That's one. And number two, you have, with smartphones came WhatsApp. And yes, it is exceedingly popular. However, the downside of WhatsApp is that it is crowded with conversations, because it has become the default group communication, particularly for families. Yeah. And everybody's in some form of WhatsApp. Anyone with WhatsApp is in some form of WhatsApp group. Yeah. And so the conversations tend to crowd the application, and so they don't get to be read as quickly and as frequently as ideally they should be. SMS still remains with a read rate of 98% in the first 5 minutes. And the other 1% are going to read their messages at least within the next 24 hours, leaving a 1% chance that they're going to fall through. So it is a near perfect medium of communication. That's one. And then number two, organizations and corporate bodies still find it easier and would prefer to use SMS as a means of communication, because SMS is easy to customize. At the back end, it's easy to customize it into a management information system that will help organizations collect data and use this data to communicate more effectively with their target market. So it is by far much more efficient, easier to use, and a lot more common.